Let's get on with this. So we'll talk about basically anything you want to talk about or that uh, comes up in my head. You can drop questions into the chat again, and I can get to those. I figured one place we would start today is board 17. So we'll go ahead and go there, and let's spend some time today talking about reverse auctions. So what we had on this board, the first two people passed always. And it came to South, who has a 17 count with 5-4 shape. Now, one idea here is that you would open this a no trump. Personally, I think it's a little bit too good. Like it's better than 17. And it's also a little bit off shape since you're 5-4 with a 4-card major. So my plan with this hand would probably be to open a club, and I think it's strong enough to reverse into 2 hearts. If you do your loser count, it's 1 spade, 1 heart, 2 diamonds is 4. We have a surplus of queens, like we have 2 queens and only 1 ace. So we're going to add half a loser for that. We're at 4.5 losers, and that's about the right kind of strength for a reverse. So let's go down the path of deciding to open this hand at club. And it looks to me, the board was played 5 times. 3 of the Souths chose to open with a no trump, which is fine. I just think it kind of has the 2 flaws in that it's a little bit too strong and that it's a little bit too suit oriented. And besides, it's not as interesting to talk about if we get on that path. So 3 people opened a no trump and 2 people opened a club and reversed into hearts. So let's go down this path of a club. And East-West is out of this auction. They have nothing really interesting to say. So first things first, with the north hand, I definitely want to be responding. Okay, I have an ace and a 4-card major, and my partner has opened the bidding with a 1-level bid. So in general here, I'm going to be bidding, and my style is to bid the spades here rather than the diamonds. Anytime I have a 1-bid hand, and by 1 bid, I mean something in that, 6 to 9 range. You want to chirp, but you don't really want to do much more than that. Anytime you are in that range, it's definitely my style. This is something called Walsh style, that you respond the major instead of bidding a diamond. I have no problem bidding a diamond if you've actually got a hand that's going to eventually commit to a game and you want to bid your long suits before your short suits. But when you've got this 5-point hand, kind of one of your main targets should be bidding a spade and hoping to get raised to 2 spades or 3 spades or, whatever by partner. So I'm bidding a spade with the north hand. And we're going to follow through with the plan to reverse with the south hand. So south is going to bid 2 hearts. And I've got a reverse worksheet pulled up on another tab here, I think. Get out of there. Okay, so I've got this sheet that I made up on reverses, and we'll just quickly review what a reverse shows. The 3 criteria at the top: opener's second suit is at the 2 level, which it is. Opener's second suit is higher ranking than opener's first suit, again, which it is. Hearts outranks clubs. And responder bid at the 1 level, which that condition is also satisfied because responder bid 1 spade. And I list the, I think, 10 reverse auctions. The following are reverse auctions. And you will see that right over here, this first diamond is the auction that we've actually perpetrated. A club by opener, spade by responder, 2-heart rebid by opener. And it says a reverse shows 17 to 20. We've got that. More cards in the first suit than in the second suit. Bingo. We have 5 clubs and 4 hearts. And an unbalanced hand, and in parentheses, 5-4-2-2 minimum shape, which is exactly what we've got. So looks like opener has got all the calls here. Now, the next point is that a reverse promises another bid by opener, and it's definitely forcing on responder. Like what actually happened at our table was that responder, for whatever reason, dumped opener in 2 hearts, And that's not a real option. Like you have to keep the bidding alive. So even if you feel guilty about your initial one spade bid, like let's say you're north here and you feel like, oh my gosh, I fudged and I responded on only 5 points. Once you go down that road, you are committed to take more calls if your partner forces you. And this two heart reverse by opener definitely forces you to take another bid. And opener is also promising a third bid. So back to this. Um, Responder doesn't need to worry that her second bid is going to be passed. Clarification points, that's not really important to this conversation. What is important to this conversation, another thought you're going to be having as responder here is I want to put the brakes on as quickly as possible. Because if partner's got 17 points, 5 clubs, and 4 hearts, and that's the minimum that opener will have, I don't want to show any encouragement. And if it's at all possible, I'd like to stop this train below game. So we need methods to do that. If we go back to our worksheet, what I suggest down here at the bottom, responder's second bid. Okay, ask yourself if you want to commit to a game opposite 17 points and 5-4 shape in the two suits the opener has described. And the first flow chart we can go down is if no. And hopefully we can all agree that we don't want to encourage opener any further with his hand. We are strongly in the if no camp. Okay. And we've got 2 options. Okay. First of all, we can rebid our suit. If we've got 5+ cards, going back to the hand, you will notice that North only has 4 spades, so that's out. If North were to rebid 2 spades here, that should show at least a 5-card suit, and it's ambiguous on strength. The second option is you can rebid the cheaper of 2 no trump or whatever the 4th suit is. Okay, so here the 4th suit would be 3 diamonds. 2 no trump is your other option. And since 2 no trump keeps the bidding lower, i.e. it's the cheaper of the 2 options, we choose that. So 2 no trump here is just it's a relay to 3 clubs, and it's a possible bad hand. 2 no trump is not natural here. It's just basically requesting that partner bid 3 clubs. And in the meantime, you're sending the flare up that, hey, don't count on me for anything. And if partner has some crazy hand, like say they had, we'll just make it the ridiculous extreme. Say they had 7 clubs and 6 hearts and 20 points or something, goofy like that. And sometimes partner's going to have really strong hands, especially if you go with the theory that you strive not to open 2 clubs with your 2 suited hands because it makes your life really difficult. If you believe in that, which I hope you do, you're going to find yourself jump shifting and reversing with some very good hands. Okay, so if you have that huge hand, just some crazy hand, 7 clubs, 6 hearts, 20 points, it's ridiculous, but go with me for a second. You need to bid something other than 3 clubs, okay? Because when we bid 3 clubs here, one of the things that partner is very likely to do is dump us in 3 clubs. And that's, I think, what the plan should be here. So South bids 3 clubs. This South hand is not exceptional in the context of that it was strong enough to reverse. Like there's no extra shape, there's no extra points. You just bid 3 clubs like your partner asked, and this is how we stop the auction. Okay. On North's second bid, anything directly at the 3 level or the more expensive, the higher ranking of 2 no trump in the 4th suit, those would be the ways that we would set up a forcing auction. Okay. And the way we slow the ball down is if we have 5 cards in our suit, in the spade suit here, we could bid 2 spades. And that's something we might do with a good hand or a bad hand, but partner knows that We have 5 cards, and this might be a warning sign. And the other thing you can do is bid the cheaper of 2 no trump and the 4th suit to tell it's artificial, tell partner, I don't like where this is headed. Okay, so what we have on the screen here is actually the auction that I would strongly suggest here, assuming you go down the route of opening the south hand with a club and reversing into hearts. And if I go over here to the comparisons, one table actually had this exact auction. Okay, so kudos to them. Club, spade, 2 hearts, 2 no trump, 3 clubs. That's the way you should navigate this auction if opener reverses. All right, that's what I have on that one. Let's see. I think everybody's into the chat here. Yep. Let's see. What else did I have from today? How about let's go to board 13. Let's talk about openers rebid on this one. So this is going to be 2 passes to south, who has a very nice 4-4-1 hand. It's 17 and it's 3 suited. And you would open a diamond. If we do a quick loser check here, 1 spade, 1 heart, 1 club, 1 diamond, 1 in each suit. And again, we have a surplus of queens. We have 2 queens and only 1 ace. So we're going to count this as 4.5 losers. All right, and 4.5 losers is enough hand to be committing to a game if your partner can respond. All right, in the chat. All right, I'll get to board 11 next. Let's talk about the rebid here. It's obviously going to go heart by north. And if we deem this hand enough to commit to game with, right, we have a heart fit. It's a matter of what our rebid should be. Like, obviously, it should be more than 2 hearts. 2 hearts would say, I have a minimum hand with heart support. We've got too much for that. And I think we have too much for 3 hearts also. 3 hearts would be consistent with like 5.5, 6 losers. And what we actually have is a trick better than that. We have 4.5 losers. 4.5 losers is a strong enough hand to commit to a game opposite a partner who can respond. Okay, so we are going to commit to 4 hearts with this hand. And the question is, what should the rebid be? Well, let's break our hands down into 2 types. First of all, we might have the balanced hand. We might have a balanced 18 to 19 with 4-card heart support. Okay, it was a hand that was too strong to open 1 no trump and a hand that wasn't quite strong enough to open 2 no trump. If we have that hand, 18 to 19 with 4-card heart support, the idea is to bid 4 hearts with this hand. Okay, and this auction that we see on the screen right now should always be opener had 18 to 19 balanced with 4 hearts. We'll get to why balanced in just a second. So rather than bidding 4 hearts and selling the idea that we have a balanced hand, what we can do here is make a rebid of 4 clubs, which should be a splinter with shortness in clubs, and it supports hearts. So you would type in short clubs, heart support, and you would make the 4 club bid. Your opponents are going to get alerted that 4 clubs has a special meaning. They can scroll over it and see this 4 club box up in the upper right that says short clubs with heart support. How do we know this is a splinter? Just for anybody who might wonder about that, a splinter is going to be an unusual jump above what would be necessary as natural enforcing. So if we think about what would be natural enforcing here, think about ways that South could show clubs. Well, obviously you could bid 2 clubs if you just had a normal hand with diamonds and clubs, or if you had a much bigger hand, like a game forcing hand with diamonds and clubs, you could bid 3 clubs. Therefore, when we go to the bother of bidding 4 clubs, it's a splinter. It's a special bid. We don't need four clubs as natural. What it says is, partner, I have something on the lines of this type of offensive strength, like 4.5 losers. I have shortness in clubs, and I have 4-card support for you. All right. And then, when it gets to North should not be interested in bidding beyond 4 hearts with this hand, particularly because you have, 11 points? Yeah, 11 points. But the Queen Jack of clubs is garbage. Like, we would do everything we could to trade in the Queen Jack of clubs for, say, the Ace of spades or the King of hearts. All 3 points are not created equally. So the idea would be, North would say, that's all well and good. I appreciate you telling me about the shortness in clubs and the good hand, just in case I had the magic hand. What would the magic hand be? The magic hand would be like a bunch of small clubs and all your high card points outside, such that you could predict the way this hand is going to work is that I'm going to use my 5 trumps to draw the trumps, and I'm going to ruff all of my small clubs with dummies trumps. And oh, by the way, partner says she's got, 17, 18 high cards. We ought to be able to cover the stuff on the outside as well. So this is how you would bid board 13 in my estimation. Let's go to 11. There's yeah, great. Board 5 is getting asked about too. I have a funny story on board 5. So let's go to board 11 first. And the question is, is there a way for East-West to enter the bidding if the opponents start with 1 spade, 1 no trump forcing, 2 clubs? So let's go with that. I guess you would give the opponents a courtesy forcing explanation here. Two clubs of passes. So I think the East hand is just good enough to go ahead and bid 2 hearts here. I would never let it get to the point at where South is rebidding 2 clubs. I think East comes in with 2 hearts. South passes because she's got nothing left to describe about her hand. West should be very happy to give a bump to 3 hearts, given that she has 4 trumps and a singleton and an outside ace. Like, this is a pretty good hand all of a sudden. And East, I think I would go ahead and bid the game here. It's close. I think I would go ahead and bid 4 hearts. How are we doing in 4 hearts? Losing a trump and a spade and a diamond. I think we're making 4 hearts here. Remember, at pairs scoring, you never need to bid close games. And the corollary to that, I believe that's the right way to use that word, is that if we don't need to be bidding thin games, invitations really ought to be sound. Like, they ought to not be jokes. And I would qualify this West hand as not a joke. Like, this is a pretty good hand if partner could bid 2 hearts. We have a dry, a bullet, and 4 trumps. And 4 trumps is a pretty big deal, actually. Okay, and if the ball comes back to East Court, you would say, like, might I have overcalled 2 hearts on a little bit less hand than this? I think the answer is, probably, yeah, maybe a little bit less than this. The other good thing is all of my points are outside the suit that they bid, right? So, if I had something like the Queen of Spades instead of the Queen of Clubs, now I'd be, more pessimistic about this hand. All right, hope that helps with that one. I think East is definitely good enough to get into this auction. Board 5, a Smolin question. And I actually had this written down too. So, a funny story on this one. It went, there's a 16 count, balanced 4-4-3-2. So we open 1 no trump. Always remember to type your range into the box just as a courtesy to your opponents. goes pass. And what actually happened at our table, we'll go down the Smolin road in just a second. What actually happened was the opponents transferred to spades. Oh, by the way, if you want the suit symbol, it's just exclamation point followed by the first letter of the suit. So exclamation D, those two characters together, is going to give you the diamond symbol. So it went two hearts pass, two spades. It went pass, pass. And now yo-yo, that would be me, got the bright idea that I should make a takeout double. And if partner bid three clubs, I could convert to three diamonds. So I made a takeout double. And it went three spades by North, four clubs by partner, four spades by South. And now all of a sudden we were going minus 620 or whatever ridiculous score, minus 620 instead of minus 170. So yeah, that was super well judged by me. Back to South's original call. Let's just throw it to the table again. I think that's faster. All right. Let's try and evaluate how good this South hand is. And it's an unbalanced hand, so let's think about it in terms of losers again. Two clubs, a diamond, two hearts, and two spades. I think we're up to 7, right? Yeah. 2, 2, 2, 1. And again, we have a surplus of queens, so we're at like 7.5. 7.5 losers in my mind. And by the way, we know we have to have at least an 8-card fit, right? Because partner is going to have at least a doubleton spade when they open one no trump. 7.5 losers is enough to commit to a game opposite a strong no trump opening. So I'm not stopping short of game. The next question is, should I get the heart suit involved here? Like, is it possible we want to play a 4-4 heart fit instead of a 6-2 or 6-3 spade fit? And I think the answer to that is yes. Okay, and let's go down that road for a second. So if we can come to the conclusion that this hand is actually good enough to bid a game and we want to keep hearts in play, you should actually start with Stayman, right? Now the plan is, if North bids 2 hearts or 2 spades, you just bid 4 of whichever suit it is. Okay, if we've already come to the conclusion that, excuse me, a 4-4 heart fit could easily be right here. If partner bids 2 hearts, we just bid 4 hearts, and he'll be very happy to see the side 6-card spade suit. Okay, and if he bids 2 spades, that's great. Also, we just raise to 4 spades. But what's actually going to happen is North bids 2 diamonds. I don't have a major. And now I guess there's a couple of different ways you could handle this. There are people who, if you play Texas transfers, would still play that Texas would be on here. So they would actually play that a bid of 4 hearts would be, it's still a transfer to spades. And 4 diamonds would still be a transfer to hearts here. If you are concerned, like I might be with some of my partners, I mean, not naming any names, of course, if you were concerned that 4 hearts looks like it might be natural, a better way maybe to do this would be through Smolin. Okay, we could use a bid of 3 hearts here to say that we have a game forcing hand with 5 spades and 4 hearts. And if partner tried to do something silly like, bid 3 no trump with a doubleton spade, well, not our opponent, but our partner. If partner tried to bid 3 no, we could just bid 4 hearts, should still be a transfer to spades at this point, or you could bid four spades if you think that's the most likely to get the picture across. But I believe you ought to be still playing Texas transfers here on the second round of the auction. Okay, so using Stamen on a hand like this, followed by either Smolin or Texas, lets you have your cake and eat it too. You don't have to commit to the spade suit. We get to find out if we've got a 4-4 heart fit on the way. Okay, so two bites of the cherry, as they say, which is always a good thing. And I don't have the tool here to just simulate a million hands and say, if I find four hearts with opener, is hearts better than spades on average? But I suspect that the answer is yes. I suspect that if opener has four hearts, a 4-4 heart fit here is going to play better than a 6-2 or a 6-3 or possibly even a 6-4 spade fit. We want to be in the 4-4 heart fit, I think, enough of the time to merit going down the Stamen road here. Okay, what about board 21 in the chat? And board 6, cool. You guys are doing a great job with the questions here. Not letting me die up here on the stage. All right, board 21. Throw it to the table. What about board? Oh, yeah. Okay. North has a 19 count balanced. So the idea would be you'd open a diamond. I am 1,000,000% responding with the south hand. And the only choice is one spade, right? Next thing that's going to happen is partner's going to bid 2 no trump. And now it's just like, there's no way out of this. You just pass 2 no trump. There's no way to play 3 clubs at this point, which is what I'd love to do if I could, but I can't the way my mom and dad used to play this is they would sigh and squirm in their seat, act real uncomfortable, look at the ceiling for answers. And then South would finally bid 3 clubs and North would get the picture and pass. We can't do that here because it's new minor forcing. Like we bid 3 clubs here. That would be asking North to describe either possession of 4 hearts or possession of 3 spades. So, okay, we're at the 10-minute here, so we're doing great. We can't do that. There's just no way to get out in 3 clubs. So I think the best way to put the tourniquet on here would just be to pass 2 no trump and hope that partner can make as many tricks as she can. Okay. South didn't bid, so West overcalled a heart at our table. Okay, so first of all, I can't imagine not bidding with the South hand. Maybe I'm insane, but I'm bidding 1 spade with the South hand 7 days a week. So if it went a diamond pass a heart, let's talk about something North could do here that's kind of cool and just makes sense. North knows at this point in the auction that her partner doesn't have as many as 5 or 6 points. Okay, because she would have found a call. I would find a call with this South hand with 4 points. So North knows she's looking at a pretty bad hand in the a lot of players would love your undo button, yeah, including me. North at this point can bid 1 no trump in an auction like this, and the hand you're describing is precisely when your partners pass, such that they are limited to about 5 points. The hand you are describing as North here is the hand that was intending to rebid 2 no trump in an unobstructed auction. You don't need to bid 2 no trump anymore. That would be silly, right? You don't need to bid 2 no trump. You know that there's not a game anymore, but you still want to play 1 no trump, possibly opposite, 0 to 5 in the dummy, because you've just got this pile of high card points. So this auction's a good one to remember. If your partner is a passing responder and you come back with 1 no trump, that's the way we can show 18 to 19 here. Let's do board 6. All right. How many people open this hand of club? Hopefully everyone. We opened two clubs because we were playing some goofy system where two clubs was limited. Okay, so we had a couple of passes. In my mind, it's best to just go ahead and open this hand with one club. Or if for some reason I couldn't convince you to open one club, open three. Do something other than pass. You have a 6-4 hand that's going to take a lot of tricks if we can find any sort of fit. And it's just so much better to, even if you think this is the light side of opening, it makes the rest of the auction so much easier to navigate if you get the first shot in, if you're the one who starts the bidding. So strong recommendation that you open this hand of club. And South's probably going to overcall a spade, I guess. West wants to bid two hearts. If you're going to bid two hearts here, you need to satisfy two check boxes. It's the Woolworths situation, 5 and dime. You've got to have 5 cards in your suit, and you got to have 10 high card points. Do we have those two things? Yes. So we can bid two hearts. It describes 10 points and 5 hearts. North actually has a pretty good hand for spades, right? And kind of looking like this deal might be a big double fit. I think I would go ahead and Q bid with the North hand. We could go down a rabbit hole here about what's the difference between Q bidding 3 clubs and 3 hearts, and I don't want to do that with 5.5 minutes left on the clock. But suffice it to say, this is a hand that we should be showing a good hand with support. So let's just go with 3 hearts here. And this shows a good hand with support for spades. East is wanting no more part of this. All right, she already opened the hand, said she had clubs. She doesn't have support for partner. This is a pretty easy pass. South would just rebid her suit to say, no thanks. West could probably pass just to say, not sure what's going on. I know that you still have a bid in the pass out chair. And East, might bid 4 clubs, might double as I'm not sure what to do type bid. I don't know. If the opponents, let's say that the opponents didn't get into the auction like this, and it's just a question of whether to play 3 no trump or 5 clubs, which was the original point in the chat. I'll tell. Actually, let's go with this goofy auction that my partner and I had, because it did have the advantage of keeping the opponents out of the auction since we started at the 2 level. This is not an advertisement for strong club systems. It's just an auction that we had, and I'll tell you the information I had and how I'm trying to make my decision here. So my partner opened 2 clubs, which for us shows 5 or more clubs, an unbalanced hand, and a limited opening bid. So he was capped off at about 15 high cards. And now South, see, one advantage of that, I guess, is that South doesn't have enough hand to overcall at the 2 level, right? It's not enough to bid 2 spades with. So we did have the luxury of having the auction to ourselves. I bid 2 diamonds, which was just, tell me more about your hand, please. He bid 2 hearts, which is artificial, and said, I have a 4-card major. That's all it said. I bid 2 spades, which is another ask. It's artificial. It said, tell me more about your hand. He bid 3 clubs, which showed specifically a minimum with 4 spades and long clubs. And I now had this choice. I could choose to try and go for the game in clubs. I could be super conservative and pass, I guess, and just take our plus score. That seemed a little deep. So the question now is like, do I bid three no trump or five clubs? And I thought about this one for a long time. I thought the bidding three no was in the picture. I thought four clubs is in the picture, five clubs in the picture. Uh, Passing just seemed too deep upon reflection, and I went ahead and bid three no. But I'm not in love with this one. Um, Particularly worried about the diamond suit. Like if the partner puts a singleton diamond down in the dummy, and they lead a diamond to the ace and a diamond back, like I'd better have 8 outside tricks ready to go. We did play three no trump. I think legitimately we're only supposed to score 7 tricks. If we played 5 clubs from the east side, it looks to me like South has a pretty easy doubleton diamond lead, and that's going to wreck the contract also. It's just going to go ace queen of diamonds, diamond rough to beat it right off the top, and we still have a spade to come. So 5 clubs and three no, I think, are both down 2 on best defense here, despite the fact that you really have opening hand opposite opening hand. All right, we're down to a minute for our meeting. I think I've covered all the things in the chat. That the reverse thing is something I suggest that you review. You're going to have a lot more confidence in your bidding, both as opener and responder, if you feel like you can navigate that second round of the auction. Okay, and to recap on that, when opener reverses, first of all, it's forcing. Responder has to make one more call, and opener is also saying that she's going to make a third bid. Okay, so responder doesn't have to worry about being dropped if she has a good hand. The important thing, I think, is when you have the weak hand, the 2 ways that you can potentially slow down the auction just depend on whether or not you have a 5th card in your responded suit. If you do, go ahead and rebid your suit. Okay, and that might be consistent with a weak hand or a strong hand. If you don't, choose the cheaper of 2 no trump and the 4th suit as your artificial, like, slow down partner. I don't have much over here. Okay, and I think that'll add a lot of confidence to your auctions.